Good morning, Pierce Adams with Breakthrough Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. I have Lauren Collins here, which is a local swim coach with a swim club we work with here in Pinehurst. We are going to start a series on swimming and performance and kind of the best practices for the best performance for swimmers. The first thing we want to kind of discuss is kind of some of the foundational principles of swimming, and that's just kind of how you manage respiration and your breathing while you're underwater. Lauren here is going to talk about just a little bit about kind of what she sees as a coach and kind of some of those flaws that she sees with some of her swimmers when it comes to breathing underwater.
Yeah, so I definitely see a lot of swimmers who are coming into the pool. They're having a hard time getting a full breath, or they're having a hard time whenever we start to work on breathing control and breathing patterns, maintaining through a extended breathing pattern without getting any of the built up anxiety happening that comes with holding your breath. We got a lot of swimmers who either forget to breathe out fully and end up having to take extra breaths whenever they are working on their races. We also have a lot of swimmers who don't breathe in very well and end up breathing really shallow. And it's really affecting their performance and the way that they practice.
Yeah, so kind of what Lauren talks about is, some of those deficits with respiration is taking too short of breaths into your chest, but then not able to fully exhale all the air out that you have in your lungs. So when we're not able to do that, we kind of stay hyperinflated and we stay in a position of kind of extension. So we know that when we flush all the air out of our lungs, that we're really engaging our obliques, and those obliques are the muscles that are needed to kind of power that rotation. So a lot of those strokes are requiring a slight bit of rotation, and especially when you go underwater and kind of push off the wall, we need to be able to rotate underwater, get those legs into the wall and push. So if we're not really able to flush all that air out of our system, we can kind of go ahead and think that we have like a big beach ball that's in our lungs. And when that's happening, you can imagine how hard it is to rotate and to fulfill your strokes when your lungs are so inflated with air. Things that you're seeing with the swimmers in the pool?
It's definitely things that I'm seeing. It's affecting their mobility. It's affecting their ability to connect their upper half to their bottom half. So whenever I see a lot of swimmers who are swimming just shoulders one way, hips the other way,
Yep.
I kind of automatically know that we have an issue somewhere within the core.
Yep.
And a lot of times whenever we work on breathing in our dryland exercises with you, that helps kind of tune them up, tighten them up a little bit better. And then when they're able to fully inhale and fully exhale, they're better able to manage their buoyancy too.
Awesome. Yeah. So when we work on some of those breathing techniques on land with the swimmers that Lauren's coaching, we like to do some things called block breathing. So we help really manage the inhale for a certain amount of seconds. We'll manage a really good pause where they can hold air in their system for the same amount of time. Then we manage that same exhale for the same amount of time, and then another kind of form of breath holding. So it's called block breathing, from inhalation to a pause to exhalation to another pause. So like Lauren said, that helps manage kind of that anxiety that some of these swimmers get when they're underwater, when they're really working hard and the carbon dioxide in their body is rising, and it's giving them that sense of stress and anxiety, and they feel like they have to take another breath. But really, if they learn how to kind of teach their body how to manage that carbon dioxide and that anxiety and some of that sympathetic response for feeling like you need to breathe, then that takes the whole race from being more of a mental game and a mental effort to more of like, how well are you, how good of a swimmer are you, and it becomes more physical.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever I see swimmers who we've worked with or are working on their breathing, kind of like Pierce was saying, whenever we get to that race pace state and they're working on their their race management skills and stuff like that, it goes from having to think a lot and having to focus on managing their anxiety, managing their breathing. Once they get that breathing down, they get to shut that part of their brain off and kind of just focus in and go instead of thinking through every little piece.
So, and one of the next two videos that you'll see that we have with this post is going to be the block breathing the exercise of block breathing that I do with a balloon with her swimmers. And then the video after that is going to be an exercise that Lauren does in the pool with the swimmers, to where they learn how to flush all their air out of their system to where they sink to the bottom of the pool, and then they stay at the bottom of the pool for as long as they can until that anxiety starts to kind of kick in where they really feel like they need to come up for air.